Hey traders, Nick Shaheen here recapping the day. Today's recap is going to be shorter than usual. I have somewhere to be. Scoreboard, negative. Red across the board. The Dow closed up 0.1%. I'm not sure what that was all about. But the day was negative, even though we started out flattish, but then we took a swift tumble down. Did bounce off the lows, although, and a valiant effort on the ES. This is the S&P 500 here, using the ES, which is the E-minis. You can see the slide down early in the morning. This is just one day, and then bounced off of 1995 level. I said we're partying like 1999, and then we recovered nicely. And up at this point, it could have gone either way. Again here, and then they decided to close down. And just after market right now, this, by the way, the SPX, NDX, these tickers still trade after hours. And you saw the trade I sent out today for 95 cents. Right now I'm looking at 80. I can probably try to close it for 80 now. It'll probably close, but I'm not going to. I like it. So I'm going to keep it. And we continue on falling after hours. So not sure what that's all about. This morning, the oil, which is right here, crashed. By that I mean, a $2 move in oil is not normal. Overnight, the low was in the 85s. I'm sorry, 75.84. We almost matched it during open hours. Yes, we're recovered, but it's still down 2% on the day. That's a big move in oil. Something's going on way beyond my pay grade, not messing with it. Small caps, same story, big whoosh down, different story as far as recovery. Look, it stayed towards the lows versus the S&P towards the highs of the day. Same with the NASDAQ towards the highs. So these guys were saying the truth. The small caps, they stayed towards the lows, and I noted that during the day. So they weren't faked out. Apple whooshed down, no different than anybody else, recovered towards the highs, but it's playing with fire right here. But it's in a comfort zone right now, so I'm not shorting it. I'm not long it yet, but I could go long it. Google, nice recovery off the bottom, nice, and strong close too. Quality product there, Google. All right, so how's the individual plays were? This is the Nasdaq. That is a doji, right? We've seen those before. Dang nabbit. Delete. Okay, and let's go to this. Doji means indecision in the markets. Not a bearish candle because it rejected the lows and it closer to the highs than the lows, but it's still indecision. They don't know where to go. So next, after indecision comes usually bigger moves than usual. And you saw what I did today. Volume was low, half as much as 2 days ago. Let's put it that way, and less than yesterday. That's on the Qs, which are the Nasdaq. The S&P volume just as much as yesterday, not half as much as 2 days ago, but lower than 2 days ago. Also doji ish indecision, also more bullish than bearish because it rejected the bottom. We're still pretty far extended upwards in a pretty fast manner, so we need a reason to rally. So we need the ECB to come out with positive news to rally past here. The usual yak, I don't think will do it. If it does, it won't. I will short it because it won't be sustainable. We need action. We need concrete reasons to rally, I think, beyond here. That's my spirit. That's my thought. On the weekly candles, this is the NASDAQ, 2 giant weeks. This week is yet TBD. So I'm not looking, we're not going to waste time there. So what about tomorrow? Are we going to come in positive, negative? We have headlines before the open, ADP and all of that stuff. So headlines aside, we should come in bearish with a negative bias. Europe today wasn't happy. The only thing that was happy today was Japan overnight yesterday. They were up big time. So tomorrow I think we're going to come in either flat or with a downward bias. I mean, we have no reason to be bullish yet. Okay, earnings may change the spirit a little bit. Priceline earnings today did not change anything. They were down $100, as much as 9% at one point, maybe a little more. I did not cash out life yet because it's dependent on, you guessed it, Europe. I'm waiting for the headline from the ECB. If it's negative, then Priceline might get hit again because that's the reason they sold it off on the negative statement that they put in, which I told you about, that they have to put in by law. They have to tell us what's going on in the future that could trip up their earnings. And they said, well, we're going to be a little bit cautious going forward. They sold them 10%, 9%, not because something was bad, because they said something is going to be a little bit less good going forward. Their earnings were great. Their growth are great. It's a good company. They sold them 9%. That's an overdone move based on something that's going to be less good going forward because of something they have no control over, which is the growth in Europe. So they might sell off again on Friday if ACB doesn't deliver anything. So it's market dependent right now. There's no rush to go long it. I would rather wait it. If I'm dying to go long it, I'll do a debit call spread, or buy some calls, some leaps out next year. I did that with Alibaba, and whoa, I didn't notice $106. That's outstanding. Love it. So Alibaba is recovered nicely from the overnight scare in the morning. They sold it down to 99. Lucky people who bought it at 99. I was lucky enough to have owned calls already, and I jumped on the calls early for the January calls, and I noted that. So that's the story of the day. Tomorrow, caution, all about the end of the week, all about jobs. Jobs can move us up, but not by much. They would have to be really surprising. Conversely, true, if they're really surprising on the downside, they can move us down. But the big movement comes from the ECB. If they deliver something big, we will rally hard. If they don't, we might meander, and if really we'll meander only if they're really honest about not expecting much. They, as in traders, not expecting much from the ECB. I have a feeling that they do expect something from the ECB, because the rally last week could not have been all on Japan's back. It was all on Japan's back, and then the forecast is like, oh, the ECB is going to do the same. But if they don't do the same, we might get disappointed. In which case, we've seen the worst case scenario that happened recently, so we have something to shoot for. All right, this is it. Nick Shaheen recapping the day. I'll catch back with you tomorrow. I'm still going to catch my messages, so please send them in. Wow, 7 minutes. That's like a record.